Colleagues, I want to thank President Zelenskyy for joining us today and for sharing with us the heartbreaking and inspiring story of his people's courage and endurance in the face of a grotesque and appalling aggression. I think it's fair to say that his words moved us, they inspired us, and they also shamed us and the rest of the world for not doing more sooner. And thankfully, because of the brave Ukrainian resistance, there is still time. In the long history of our own country, we have never invaded another, but we do know what it's like to have been invaded and to have the very existence of our national identity questioned too. And for these reasons, we feel for the idealism of the Ukrainian people, their defiance and their determination to face down a new evil empire. As a country, we are heartbroken watching the scenes we see on television every night. And we're heartbroken to see what the people of Ukraine have had to endure now for 42 days. We're angry at the appalling human rights abuses against men, women and children and the terrible loss of life. And we promise that we will do everything we can to aid Ukraine in the struggle, to shelter the people of Ukraine, and we will stand by them in their greatest hour. The abolitionist and civil rights leader Frederick Douglass liked to quote our own civil rights leader Daniel O'Connell, who we met here in Dublin. He said that the history of the Irish people could be traced like a wounded man through a crowd, by the blood. And today, the history of Ukraine can be traced through its villages and towns and cities, by the suffering of its children, its women and its men, by the blood. Count Corla, today President Zelenskyy showed a burning desire for freedom and self-determination, for democracy and liberty, for things that we enjoy and sometimes take for granted. He showed a desire for a European future for Ukraine, a place in that common European home that we helped to build. And we endorse that desire and support the Ukrainian people in their wish to join the European Union. A little over 100 years ago, perhaps Ukraine's greatest national poet captured their dreams of freedom and courage. Her words still resonate today, and I quote, "The people of Ukraine are sowing flowers of flowing colours, even amidst the frost, and watering them with bitter tears. Know that the abandoned fire of your songs will burn forever in the world. It will burn at night, and it will burn at the daytime. It will burn forever." We also have a message too for the aggressor, for President Putin, his government, his diplomats, his collaborators, and his apologists here and abroad. Over the past 42 days, you violated the human rights of another sovereign people, your neighbours, your friends, your so-called Slavic brothers. You've raped and defiled the very principles of common humanity which bind us together in peace and harmony. You've betrayed your own people and your own country's rich and proud history and your own resistance to oppression over many centuries. We here have no quarrel with the people of Russia. We particularly admire those extraordinarily brave people who continue to oppose and protest this war on the streets of Moscow and St. Petersburg. Hear, hear. But for those responsible for this conflict, we have a simple message from this House. Your actions will never be forgotten. They will never be forgiven. Thanks to the power of modern media, we've seen what you've done. You've made yourselves outcasts in the international community. You've strengthened Ukrainian national identity. You've united Europe and the West. And you've made our values shine brighter ever still. We are a small country, but we have a voice. And today, we say to the world that Ireland stands with Ukraine. Our hopes, our thoughts, our prayers are with the men, women and children of Ukraine, today and tomorrow and forever. We know you will prevail. Slava Ukraini.